Fantastic Four First Steps, directed by Matt Shankman, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Evan Moss. So you probably know Matt Shankman for creating the WandaVision series. This falls in the same lane as that, where it's very like 60s vibes, and the way it's shot, like there's like some stuff that reminds me of like Brady Bunch, like it's very 60s, but also it's serious. This is not like your basic Marvel movie, like don't expect a bunch of jokes or action. This is a family drama, and the superhero side of it kind of comes second. They focus on the drama, and this is the start of a huge tone shift that I hope to see with Marvel. You kind of notice that with Thunderbolts. That was a bit like A24 esque. They promote it that way too. But this is, it takes place in a whole new universe outside the 616 universe, and it's made clear, especially since this is like a modernized version of the 60s, but also the characters, they they don't like, they're less assholes than most Marvel stuff, because usually every character can kind of come off as too serious or too jokey, where it sometimes kills the vibe. This one, they're a family, but they're like, they'll make fun of each other, but they're all respectful. Even Johnny, like I was expecting him to be a huge dickhead, and he was actually one of the best characters in the movie. A huge tone shift as well is even the way like it's lit. Like it's lit different. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's lit darker, like more like a drama. While the Marvel stuff are a lot more funner. This is a new direction, which it does make sense. They should be doing that because Marvel's on a losing streak, and they want a fresh new take. So this is kind of their way of entering that world. Now, spoilers. This film, I don't know if it's going to fit well with Doomsday, because these characters, they're so different than the other Marvel stuff that I'm not sure how they're going to interact with, like, let's say, like Falcon's Captain America. They're a lot more serious, but not like Snyder DC serious. They're serious, and like you believe that the Fantastic Four are real people. They feel genuine. It doesn't feel like you're watching an actor. It feels like you're watching a family, and it's a lot more realistic with more serious stakes. Like a lot of Marvel stuff is the world's ending and it gets kind of boring, but this is more, it's not just the world's ending, but it's you have to choose between your kid or everyone. And that's some of the biggest stakes we've seen since like No Way Home, I would say. And then I'm gonna get to the actors. Pedro Pascal, I did think his performance was a bit sloppy. Like I wasn't a huge fan of him doing like a nerd voice the whole time, because that wasn't great. And then I kind of like cringed a bit because there's one scene where Sue Storm's driving a car. It's like the big final act, and then she crashes, and you hear Mr. Fantastic just go, "Oh God," like that's all he could come up with. I'm not sure they wrote that or he ad libbed it, but that was just received so poorly. But there is great moments with Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic. Like you believe everything he's saying. Like it's not just a dumbass acting smart. You believe Pedro Pascal is smart, but that does come with some faults because he tries to boost his acting to kind of be like the fucking smarty pants character. Vanessa Kirby, she plays a believable leader in it. And yeah, like you believe that she's the leader of the Fantastic Four. Usually it's Reed Richards, but this change works well because she's dominant, and she plays like a good like I don't know the right word, strict, I would say. And it's cool to see like the progression of her as a mother. It's subtle, but like even when she's in front of all the people saying that this is my kid, I'm gonna save him, Vanessa Kirby plays that great. She's a fantastic Sue Storm. I would say the best that we've seen, which isn't saying a lot because the best that we've seen hasn't been that great. But then Joseph Quinn, he as Human Torch, his Human Torch, I would also say is the best one. You could argue Chris Evans, but they're two like separate characters. This one is a dickhead, and like he does say like Johnny loves women, but it's not like how the other one is where he's constantly signing autographs and women are like whistling at him. It's not that big, but Johnny is like definitely the character that shows the most progression. You see a lot more of him than Reed, I would say. Like he's like the dominant man character in this movie, and his relationship with Silver Surfer is something that, like, when I heard Silver Surfer was a woman, I was like, alright, Marvel's getting woke again. But they used that good because their relationship, it helps the movie so much. And then Johnny's a smart character. Like, I always wondered how characters so stupid as Johnny could even go on a spaceship in the first place. But his character's smart. Not on the same level as Reed, but he's close to there. And he knows what he's doing. And he, like, you could kind of tell watching this who the director or writer's, like, favorite character is by who gets the most screen time or gets the most memorable moments. I would say Johnny is the most memorable character out of this whole movie, if not then Sue Storm. Or, yeah, right, that's her name, Sue Storm. And then Evan Moss as the Thing. He was personally my favorite character in this movie, but they didn't show a lot of him. I was expecting a lot more. But what they did show, like, you can make a whole movie off of the Thing. Like, his character has lots of sadness and lots of, like depression. And he wants to be human. He feels shut out, and he's trying to entertain people. A lot of stuff that they could have done a bunch with, but they didn't. But what they did show was good, and then Evan Moss was fun. The shit with Clobbering Time, that was played out a bit too much, if you ask me. But it's a fun character, and they did good with him. They showed stuff that I liked from the original one, like him kind of hiding, wearing the jacket and the hat. They did that, and they did like subtle respect to the other movies, which I do enjoy. And now I'm gonna get to my problems with this, and the big one is probably the final act. Galactus is like he's evil for sure. He wants to eat babies. He's not a fucker that you want to mess with, and he's scary. Like they have the guy who was the dad in The Witch be the voice. That shit's scary. And but like when they fight in the final act, like they set up Galactus as this tyrant, guy no one could kill, eats anything that comes in his way, and then they kind of beat him pretty easy. I would say compared to what I was expecting, yes, you could argue Sue does die, so that does show that it was a hard fight. But I don't know, I was just expecting like a bit more of characters getting injured and bloody and being like, this is our last resort and like going to do something big. They didn't show too much of that. But I will say this, I am really impressed with what Marvel is doing, because they need something like this movie. They need a drama, family drama, something believable. Like, you believe these are real people and this is a real family, and you care for them, and it's a good tone difference. Like, the TV shows have shown that. Like, Daredevil Born Again has done a great job of doing that. The movies have slacked because they're trying to entertain people with action, but also have you like characters, so they have stupid jokes. They realize that they don't need to do that to make a good movie. And I, like, the problem with that is, though, because I saw this in the theaters, and I will say at least 10 people in my theater were on their phones for like 30 minutes. It's a huge tone shift that comes kind of out of nowhere, so a lot of people aren't prepared, so it's going to bore some audiences. But that's kind of like the price that comes at switching your tone and making a good movie after a while, is it's going to bore people, and it's going to take some getting used to, but this is, pun intended, a fantastic start to showing their new universe and building off of a new style and tone right before Doomsday comes out. And I, if I had to rate this, I would give it a 7/8. I was really impressed with it. I think these are characters that I could enjoy and believe in. It's just the only problem is I don't know how they're going to fit with the other characters. Because this is such a good movie, and usually what happens is when you write such good characters, they can't really work with other characters outside of their universe. But I'm excited to see the credit scene. I was hoping for a bit more because the credit scene of Thunderbolts, that was a bit lackluster. But I'm excited to see what happens, and this is a good start if they want to change things. And Marvel, I hope Marvel knew what they were doing with this, because it is going to frustrate audiences. There's people coming here expecting, oh, Johnny's going to make some jokes at Reed, and there's going to be huge firefight scenes and whatnot. This doesn't show that. There is more, you see more of them as people than them using powers. That's what I meant earlier when I said this is a family drama first and superhero movie second. They rarely use their powers. Like, you see a bit of it in the opening scene, and then they use it towards the end. But this is the soul. The soul of the movie is it's a drama that cares for its characters. So it's gonna bother some audiences. Some people are gonna want to go on their phones because they're gonna be bored because it's not what they're used to. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. I think this movie was great. 7/8, I'll give it. And yeah, I want to look. I'm looking forward to see what happens, and I want to see more like this outside of TV. They're doing this with TV, but they're not doing it with the movies, and it's fucking over a lot of stuff. Like Captain America 4, that was awful because they wanted action like the Winter Soldier movie. They weren't trying to be its own thing. Fantastic Four First Steps is their own thing as a fresh new beginning. That's also helps with the name First Steps. It's the first step at a new approach that they're giving something because it's a new dimension. It's not trying to be like the other Marvel movies, so they're taking a bold approach. And if you're a fan of like actual movies and good dramas, you're gonna love this. You're gonna really appreciate this. Even if you didn't like superhero movies before, you will appreciate this. If you're huge into superhero movies because you like to see Captain America fight Black Panther or whoever, you're not gonna like this. That's just how it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what Marvel does with Doomsday and with this. I'm praying that the fucking Russo brothers does not fuck up Doomsday. I heard they don't have a script, which is stupid, because when you have a movie with 20 characters, you need a script. So, let's just hope that the Russo brothers aren't gonna mess up Doomsday the way they messed up their $300 million movie Electric State, if anyone's ever seen that. So, yeah, I hope and pray for a good Marvel future. And yeah, Fantastic Four First Steps, great movie. And yeah, let's look forward to more movies like that instead of Captain America fighting Giancarlo Esposito for 4 minutes and then never see him again. Enough of that stupid shit. Please stop it.